the time period that are known as the end times. People of the world, all nations, are being called by God to this place to hear the final revelations of God for the end times, which are the final times that we will live through and experience. And so if you misinterpret that for any reason, that's going to be a problem for you in the future. It has nothing to do with the next person who's listening and is not misinterpreting it, is not misapplying their mind to what they're hearing. If you minimize what you are hearing by any kind of placebo effect that's going on with you, oh, this is not going to happen for another 100 years. Oh, this is not for the Church of Jesus Christ. We're going in the rapture. If you minimize what you are hearing for any reason, then that is going to be a problem for you and your family members later when your expectations are not met in the way that you thought they would be met based on your misapplication of understanding and your misunderstanding of long-standing scripture that has always been there to guide the rightly thinking, rightly discerning believer in the right direction that God has for us. And so God has a purpose in what he is doing. God has a purpose in what he is saying. God has a purpose in the messages that he has been sending. And God also has an adversary against whom he is making war. That adversary is not Satan, for God made war against Satan a long time ago, cast him out of the garden. Satan has been defeated. Satan is under God's feet. And everything that Satan does basically is a problem for us humanity. It's not a problem for God. Satan is a defeated foe. He was cast out of God's presence. God defeated him. And then he was cast down under Jesus' feet by the perfect sacrifice of the cross. So he's not Jesus's problem either. The only person that Satan is a problem for is humanity. It's for you, it's for me. So God's adversary at this time in the earth is not the devil. God's adversary is actually a nation that God says has offended him, has waged war against him, has waged war against his kingdom, has waged war against his house, has waged war against his book, has waged war against his Christ, has waged war against his creation, has waged war against righteousness, waged war against righteous order in the earth, waged war against everything conceivable that can be called good. And that place is the United States of America, where I am currently sitting in New York City, where you might be currently sitting watching this video, or you have family members who emigrated here, or you emigrated here from somewhere else and you're surprised. And since when did America become God's enemy? Since a long time ago, actually, since many, many, many decades ago. The problem is that as you have lived in this decadent nation, as you have lived in this modern recomposition of the ancient kingdom of Babylon, you have picked up, to a large extent, a blind eye to what sin is. You have become inured to what sin is. You no longer pay attention to what sin is. You don't care what sin is. You're not bothered by what sin is. You have picked up the mindset of Babylon that says, don't judge other people. You don't know what they're facing. Don't mind if they're trans. It's not your body. Don't mind if it's pedophilia. Don't mind if it's this. Pedophilia is a preference. It's no longer a sickness. It's no longer a crime in the United States. They don't even hunt down the main pedophiles in the United States. And so if you live in America, you have, to a very large degree, picked up her sickness. You have picked up her rashes. You have picked up her constant desire to make excuses and to compromise and to minimize everything wicked until it seems like the nation is largely good. It's just those people over there that are doing bad. That is not what God is saying. God says from Isaiah chapter 1 that the whole head is sick and the body is rotten and covered with putrid sores. Putrid means rotting, liquid, pus, and stinking. That is the description of something that is putrid. And so this blog exists to educate people on what the voice of God is saying in our midst for our time now. And a lot of people don't understand that when God is speaking, it's not a conversation. When the Lord is bringing forth prophecy, it is not a conversation. It is as if a person is speaking and then you constantly keep trying to interrupt them with your questions. You constantly keep trying to interrupt them with your disagreement.